He was asked about preparing for Errol Spence Jr. and what he thought about it. And he also mentioned Jermell Charlo in the same statement. He's like, look, Errol Spence Jr. is going to be a very, very tough fight. It's going to be a hard fight. That dude he gave him all kind of credit for being a tough fight and saying, look, man, this dude is the real deal. We're going to have to, but is Bud in shape and ready, tactically ready, physically ready for it? Yeah, he's ready for it. That is a long shot from a drunken-ish, right? We're gonna ruin this dude, demolish this dude, easy fight, and all the conversations that he had for years before that, right? Now, it is not, I don't think that it is just the fact that the fight got closer. I personally believe it's because of what Errol Spence Jr. looks like now versus what he looked like when those guys were saying that. Both from what other people have said and what I've seen and witnessed personally. First things first is that Yordenis Ugas fight. He went in there, and before that Yordenis Ugas fight, Bomac said that Yordenis Ugas had a chance to win that fight, and that Yordenis Ugas was a monster. It was not going to be an easy fight for Errol Spence Jr., right? Highly praised Yordenis Ugas and Yordenis Ugas' ability to fight, right? He wasn't a flat.
Those are the words of Fannon boxing, and that's what he had to say about Errol Spence, Bomac, Terrence Crawford. And he was speaking on Bomac. Why is Bomac quiet now? Now Bomac is giving Errol Spence praise. Now, the comments, the trash talk has stopped. And it was a long shot, as you heard him say, from when Bomac was saying he was just a drunk-ass fighter and it'll be easy work. Now he's saying that, it's going to be a very difficult fight. Let me counterpunch. Well, two things, okay, I want to add. This is what I want to counter to Fannon, okay? I want to bring the exhibit of not just what Bomac said about Errol Spence, but then what did Derek James say about Terrence Crawford? Okay, let's just look and listen to what Derek James said to or about Terrence Crawford. And here we go.
What's Errol gonna do? He's gonna have to cut the distance.
I don't know what he's going to do, man. I don't know what to say. I have no idea. Really, man, Crawford's a great fighter.
And there you go. Now, see, as you just heard Derek James say what he said, well, we don't know. We got to train hard. We have to train hard for Terrence Crawford. But see, the thing is, you won't hear Fannon say that. You won't hear Fannon make videos about how Derek James, which is the trainer of Errol Spence, say those type of things. See, that's the art of propaganda. See, you would hear me make two videos about both perspectives. That's how you balance it out, not just be one-sided. Not just, oh, this is Spence this, Spence that, Spence this, Spence that, pro Spence. Yay, go Spence. You have to balance it out. Fannon, yeah, he's peddling, He's trying to make a point, well, why is Bomac now not talking, okay, versus why is Derek James now giving Terrence Crawford respect all of a sudden? Because at the beginning he wasn't. He wasn't even trying to fight, he wasn't even trying to make his fighter be prepared to take a fight with Terrence Crawford, saying shit like, oh, he doesn't sell tickets, so we ain't worried about him. That's some company network worshiping shit right there. But you don't hear Fannon talk about that. You'll hear him, he's not the right, doesn't make the money, he doesn't bring in the revenue for Al Heyman, see? Right? And it's crazy how it shifts, and speaking of Yordenis Ugas was a guy that was a formidable guy, you know, and for the record, you wouldn't hear Fannon talk about how he belted Errol Spence and knocked his fucking mouthpiece out. And Errol Spence fell into the ropes like he was a drunken fucking bum in the corner. See, you won't hear that. And that's what Dennis Ugas did. He hit Errol Spence, and it was almost like, oops, I didn't supposed to do it. I was supposed to get this real fighting him. Errol Spence was looking at him like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, you know, it was almost like, to me, it looked scripted. It just did. It looked, he hit him, and then he kind of just stopped and stood there and watched fucking Errol Spence go in the ropes. You know, if that was Terrence Crawford would have hit Errol Spence. If Errol Spence would have went back flailing into the ropes like he did, Terrence would have been right behind him. So the minute Errol Spence bounced off those fucking ropes, Terrence Crawford would have nailed his ass again, just like he did Kell Brook. Counterpunch. Why? Because Terrence Crawford is not a fucking network stable PBC fighter. Those fighters are, I believe, they're getting paid to lay. Okay? They pay to lay. Your Dennis Ugas was just too proud for that shit. But you didn't see him. Wasn't fighting back. Yeah, he got his orbital bone broken because he stopped inflicting pain on Errol Spence, which he knew he could do, as we saw earlier. So don't give me no shit about what Errol Spence did. It was what your Dennis Ugas couldn't do, more than likely. And if he was able to hit Errol Spence like that, it wouldn't like Errol Spence turned into Floyd Mayweather like this was Floyd and Sugar Shane, where Floyd just adjusted and never let Sugar Shane get off. And a lot of people thought that was kind of suspect. But at least Floyd, tightened up. You could tell he tightened up on his defense. That right hand shit wasn't working no more. That straight left to the body and right upstairs wasn't working no more. Floyd adjusted and whooped that ass from every round. That wasn't the case. Your Dennis Ugas stood in front of fucking Errol Spence and got wailed and nailed. Bars. He seen bars all right when he got his ass hit again and again and again. He just didn't want to lay down. He just didn't want to take a knee. He didn't want to stop. So they stopped it for him because his face was fucked up. And his eye was all shut and swollen, whatever. Right? We all know Errol Spence can punch like the Dickens. But it wasn't in the plans for you, Dennis Ugas, to beat Errol Spence. There's no doubt about it. Okay? That's not going to happen over there. If you Dennis Ugas would have beat him, it would have fucked all the money up. But then here's the irony of it. There is no money to even be made, really. Because they're talking about, the 60%, and he take that, 35, take 65, he take 35. All that bullshit. See, that lets you know that there's no money in it right there. Because if you're fighting over fucking a half a loaf, what good is no, because no one has a full loaf. But let's continue.
Footed fighter that would not be able to get out of the way of Errol, that was going to get knocked out. He was none of that, right? Now, interestingly enough, your Dennis Ugas wasn't that to anybody before that fight took place. He only became that after Errol Spence Jr. Had the fight stopped. I do believe it was in the sixth round, something like that, where the guy literally had a broken orbital bone, eyes swole up. Also heard that he had a broken rib, might have had a broken nose, right? It was only after that a lot of people all of a sudden started talking about how flat-footed your Dennis Ugas was, and how the reason that, your Dennis Ugas wouldn't be able to win the fight, or it was an easy fight for Errol, is because he just chose to stand there. Amazing how it wasn't the case before the fight, but it became the fact after the fight. However, Bernie, I combined Bernie and Bomac, and I'm not editing these videos. Sorry about that. We just chopping it up. Bomac, right, is now basically giving the dude his credit, but obviously still saying, that Errol Spence Jr. that Terrence Crawford is going to beat Errol Spence Jr. in the fight. Which I will tell you, and let me give you a little pro Terrence Crawford spiel in the middle of this video.
So, again, more of the same from Fannon, stating that, I feel that Bomac'S stopped talking simply because of what he did to Ugas, and then Ugas became a guy that stayed and stood in front of him. I seen that fight. I know Ugas, the way he fights, he doesn't let fighters do that type of shit. He didn't let Delorme do that. He didn't let fucking Sean Porter do that. He didn't let anyone do that. But Errol Spence. After he belted him into the ropes like we already explained. Okay? And it's just funny about guys like Fannon. I had to get on when I heard that shit. I had to just counter with, look, yo, you're talking about Bomac, but, you know, you're talking about Errol Spence, and you're talking about Terrence Crawford in reference of Bomac. But what you're not talking about is Derrick James. You know, so that's the missing puzzle of this whole thing. If you put that missing puzzle piece in where it's supposed to be, you could tell this video is incomplete. So it's a lot of incomplete videos. That's what makes it biased, because it's not balanced. You're not fairly talking about, well, to be fair, Derrick James was concerned about Terrence Crawford as well. That's what this video's missing. You guys tell me what you think of Fannon criticizing Bomac for not talking as much now, because possibly he's implying that he's scared. Of course, please subscribe. And you guys been Counterpunch. Peace!